Want to encourage your bird to be more independent and play more outside the cage? Watch this video for some tips. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm David and today we are talking about something I get asked about an awful lot. Encouraging your bird to be less clingy, be more independent outside the cage and play and forage a bit more. Loads of questions about this constantly, people struggle with it a lot, so I thought I'd do a video to discuss the topic and how you can encourage it. There is one very simple way which we're going to discuss in a moment, and then loads of other little things we'll sort of discuss as a nuanced approach. I would like to give a huge thank you to Northern Parrots for providing the kind of centrepiece of this video, which is a Java tree. I'll discuss why that's so important a bit later, and some of the other bits I'm featuring. I'm very grateful to you, Northern Parrots, thank you very much. And I would also like to draw attention to their newsletter, which is 10% off if you sign up. There is also going to be a special limited time promo code for people who are watching this video where you can get 20% off all foraging toys if you buy a Java MIDI tree, which is going to be like the centerpiece here. I'll leave details in the description. Please do check that out if you're interested, because it's a great little bundle and would make a great centerpiece for your bird's foraging activities. One of the most important things I feel when it comes to encouraging play and independence outside the cage, it is giving your bird their own space outside that cage. It's something a lot of people overlook, a lot of people sort of dismiss it as a thought, and I can understand that people think, oh, they've got their own space in their cage, they've got like maybe the top of their cage with some toys, they've got some toys dotted around. But it's really important that they have their own space. It's the equivalent of us having our bedroom and then us having our living room. And if we're sharing our space with our birds, it's great to give them their own little space within that space that they can enjoy and they can get lots of interaction and fun with. It's natural that our birds are going to want to spend a lot of time with us. They are flock animals, they will gravitate towards us, they will get in our business, and they will sometimes be nuisances when we're trying to do other things. I know I experienced that with having so many parrots ourselves. This is where having their own space can be very helpful, especially if you make it very active, make it interesting, make it somewhere they actually want to be, so they'll gravitate towards there while you get on with whatever business you want to get on with. And that way you sort of win in both ways, but you know they're having lots of fun, but you can also do what you need to do around your property. And I think a Java tree is almost perfect for this role. So again, thank you, Northern Parrots. A Java tree is really great for this because it is effectively a tree, and it's something that is fairly natural for them to interact with. The great thing about Java trees as well is they have a large base, most of the great ones do, where you can put substrate in there, encourage foraging down there, if your bird's a ground forage, or even if you just train them to do it. You've got little hooks where you can put toys in, you've got normally a nice bowl where you can put treats in, especially when you're initially getting them used to it. It's something they can spend a lot of time on, especially if you get them used to or trained on it, and that makes a perfect interactive object for them. And it gives them their own space that they can sit on, they can gravitate towards, and they can feel safe on when they're out and about in your environment and not just in their cage. And that's where that Java tree is perfect, and we're finding that our birds are really liking it, really gravitating towards it, and really enjoying spending time on it. But even if a Java tree isn't something you can accommodate, maybe you live in a small apartment or a smaller area, or your budget's tight, you can get all sorts of other things. You can get mini trees, mini Java trees, you can get little stands like the ones we've got. I'll put an example up on screen, which are quite inexpensive but fulfill the role, especially if you've only got a small parrot. It's just, there are loads of options, and it's something you can always provide. Even if your budget is tight, even if your space is tight, you can provide your parrot that space outside the cage. And I'm going to say something a bit harsh here. If you don't want to do that, it's only going to cause you more problems than the little outlay that you'd spend on it. Northern Parrots have a great selection of these other things as well. We bought almost all of them from there. We've got sort of play stands and trees going all the way up from tiny to what we've got now, which is the Java tree. So do have an explore on their website. There's plenty of options there, and you will find something that you can provide. Another frequent question I get with regards to this, and where people have already bought a play stand or object like this, is my bird won't use it, my bird doesn't want to go near it. And if you think about it, that's quite normal. Some birds will be very confident, they'll be straight on there, they will be like, right, I want to play with that, it's great, you've got some food on there. Others will be more hesitant, and you have to train them, you have to encourage them as their flock mate, especially if they're a solo bird. You'll have to encourage and train them to go on it, and that means desensitization work, getting them used to it, letting them come to it on their own terms, giving them treats and reinforcement for getting near it. And once you do get them used to it, they become a lot more confident, they start to learn it's a great thing to be on, something to enjoy, and then you start to see the positive results. You start to see them wanting to go there when you fill it with treats, when you put their foraging toys on there, rather than gravitating towards you when you're doing your work. And that's where it's such a useful tool, because it's helping you and it's helping them as well. If you do want to have some tips on this sort of stuff, desensitization work, training your bird to use toys, training your bird to get used to new things, I have a whole host of videos on the channel, including a recent playlist where I have all the core skills, which does include training for foraging and training for toy play. Do explore them, they'll be helpful if you decide to get yourself a play stand or Java tree too. Use toys and foraging trays and the like to your advantage too. There's a foraging tray starter kit with my brand name on it, which you can get on Northern Parrots. That's a great place to start if you're a bit unsure. Loads of foraging toys. It can be something as simple as a bowl with some substrate in it. It's really easy to get your bird foraging, but what I'm trying to get at here is you can put these on your play stand or tree, they can interact with them there and get fun out of them, but you can also create little foraging stations around your room. For example, you have your tree and they're on it, and then they can't come over to you because they're done with it, they've been on there for an hour or so. You can have a little foraging tray next to your desk, and then they can start foraging in there as well. So they've got another activity they can engage in, which is near you, and it's kind of involved with what you're doing. Just using your toys and your foraging trays, having little different areas they can explore, helps to make that environment theirs as well as yours, and helps to keep them out of your hair too. We're basically creating something what we call a free operant environment. Now, I'm not going to go into the debate about free operant environments. Basically, it means an environment where your bird has loads of choices and can do lots of great things. Really important, because choice is really important to any animal on this planet. The more choices we have, the more independent, the more confident we feel. It's the same for our parrots. Some people say it's very limited in our houses. Completely agree, but we're trying to provide as much as we can. So you can create this environment where your bird has choices. It can come to you, it can go to the tree or the play stand, it can go to the foraging station, and with these choices comes more confidence, comes more independence, comes less bothering of you, because they don't feel like they have to cling to you. They're like, okay, I want to spend time with my human, I really love that. Then I'm going to go over to my Java tree, I'm going to peck at some toys, I'm going to explore it. Do you see where I'm going with this? It does create a great sort of place for your bird that you can share with them. Again, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Northern Parrots. Do check out that pinned comment and the code in the description for the foraging bundle. Do check them out if you're in the UK. They're a really great parrot supply store. We were buying from them long before we had any associations with them. And yeah, if you have any thoughts about play stands, Java trees, what are your experiences with them? I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, take care and see you later.